Hello, chaos theorists. It's February 13th, 2025, and I'm Beatrix Kiddo, your host for Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI. Buckle up, because today's show is a wild ride. First up, it looks like President Donald Trump is back at it again, reigniting the lightbulb wars. You won't believe what he's saying now. Next, we've got a gigantic winter storm set to sweep across 14 U.S. states. We'll tell you which ones and what you need to know to stay safe. Then, things are getting heated between J.D. Vance and the bishops over the Trump-Musk agenda. We'll break down what's happening and who's on which side. In international news, a mischievous monkey has knocked out Sri Lanka's entire electrical grid during a heat wave. We'll tell you how it happened and what officials are doing to restore power. And finally, Scarlett Johansson is calling for new AI laws after a fake video of her goes viral. We'll tell you what the video is and why it's causing such a stir. So sit back, relax, and let me, Beatrix Kiddo, guide you through today's top stories. It's time to dive into the chaos. That's right, folks. Trump posted on his social media platform Truth Social that he plans to end Biden-era standards for light bulbs that accelerated the adoption of LED lighting. He wants to go back to the common sense standards for light bulbs, and he's directed his appointee Lee Zeldin to make it happen. Although, Trump calls Zeldin secretary in his post, and it's actually the Department of Energy that sets efficiency standards for light bulbs and appliances. But, details.
Yeah, details. This isn't the first time Trump has taken aim at energy efficiency initiatives. In fact, it's part of a broader effort to derail action on climate change and promote fossil fuels. He even signed a sweeping executive order called Unleashing American Energy on his first day in office that includes safeguarding the American people's freedom to choose from a variety of goods and appliances, including but not limited to light bulbs.
And it's not just light bulbs, David. Trump indicated he would weaken standards for sinks, showers, toilets, washing machines, and dishwashers, too. But let's get back to those light bulbs. Old-school incandescent bulbs are far less efficient than their newer counterparts because they lose about 90% of their energy as heat. Household LEDs typically use at least 75% less energy than incandescent bulbs and can last up to 25 times longer. Plus, while upfront costs for an LED bulb tends to be higher, an LED is supposed to save consumers money in the long run because of its longevity and through lower electricity bills.
Exactly, B. It's no wonder, then, that the LED is already the leading lighting technology in homes globally, according to the International Energy Agency. But Trump's crusade against more efficient light bulbs isn't just about energy efficiency. He said before that you look better with incandescent lights, and that, of course, being a vain person, that's very important to me.
In our next story, reported by Isaac Schultz for Gizmodo, a large winter storm system is making its way across the central and eastern United States today, triggering winter storm warnings in 14 states.
Oh boy, here we go again. I guess Old Man Winter isn't quite done with us yet. A winter storm warning is issued when a forecast indicates at least 6 inches of snow will fall in 12 hours, or 8 inches in 24 hours, or half an inch of sleet is expected to accumulate. That distinguishes it as more serious than a winter weather advisory and a winter storm watch.
That's right, David. And the latest National Weather Service map indicates winter weather advisories are in place in 28 states and flash flood watches are in place for 11 states. The NWS Weather Prediction Center is cautioning that power outages and tree damage are likely and advising people to avoid travel unless absolutely necessary.
Yikes, that's some serious weather. The storm is caused by the southerly movement of a high-pressure system from the Arctic, bringing cold weather across the contiguous U.S. as moisture from the Gulf moves north. This has triggered a winter storm with its coldest side towards the north. And historical data from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, indicates the risk of severe weather for this point in February to be fairly rare. About 1%, according to about 30 years of weather records.
But that doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet, David. Severe storms are expected on the southern side of the system, in the Gulf states from East Texas to West Florida, where temperatures are slightly warmer. Thunderstorms are expected across the region and as far north as Oklahoma in the west to West Virginia in the east, though the most severe storms will be concentrated in southern Alabama and Mississippi.
And let's not forget about California, where there is a moderate risk of excessive rainfall in Southern California through Thursday and a slight risk of it in Northern and Central California today. Given the recent wildfires in the state, the deluge of rain creates a serious risk of mudslides.
Well, if there's one silver lining, it's that New Mexico is the only state without any weather warnings or advisories, aside from South Carolina and Florida, which have coastal advisories in place. So if you're in Albuquerque, stay put. Bishop Marianne Edgar Booty, the Episcopal Bishop of Washington, D.C., asked Trump to have mercy on people made fearful by his policies during a prayer service at the National Cathedral. This challenge was a rare, direct personal appeal to the president.
Yeah, B, it's not every day that someone calls out the president like that. And it seems like Booty's plea reflected a consensus position among Christian leaders, including Pope Francis and the National Council of Churches.
That's right, David. In fact, several Catholic bishops put out statements similar to Booty's challenge. John Wester of Santa Fe affirmed the Christian imperative to care for the resident and the stranger, and Mark Seitz of El Paso criticized the halting of refugee resettlement, the disregard for the asylum process, and the questioning of birthright citizenship.
But it seems like J.D. Vance, the vice president and a convert to Catholicism, wasn't too happy about these statements. He suggested that the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops was more worried about their bottom line than humanitarian concerns when it comes to immigration.
Yeah, and that led to a flurry of assertions and counter-assertions about Catholic social service organizations and their budgets. But Cardinal Timothy Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, defended the church's work, saying they're losing money, not making money, caring for immigrants.
And it seems like Vance is suddenly one of the most visible members of the church in the United States, even though he only converted 5.5 years ago. He was even tutored by men from the Dominican order and baptized at St. Gertrude, a Dominican priory in Cincinnati.
That's right, David. And he even went on TV prepared with talking points from the most famous Dominican of all, Thomas Aquinas, suggesting that efforts to provide charity to immigrants contradict Catholic teaching.
But Rory Stewart, a British academic and former Conservative Party politician, challenged Vance on social media, calling his remarks a bizarre and pagan inversion of the gospel precept to love one another.
Yeah, and all this prompted another spate of commentary on the nature of charity and how it is performed in American society today. But it seems like the vice president is sticking to his guns, even suggesting that the U.S. sends taxpayer dollars abroad to NGOs that are dedicated to spreading atheism.
Wow, B, that's a pretty bold claim. But it seems like there's no evidence to back it up. In fact, the non-governmental organization that has received the largest annual grants from USAID is Catholic Relief Services, a charity and development organization run by the U.S. Catholic bishops.
In our next story, reported by Thomas Maxwell for Gizmodo, a monkey in Sri Lanka caused a nationwide blackout by coming into contact with a grid transformer.
Wait, a monkey did what now?
You heard me right, David. A single monkey managed to cut off power for the entire country of 22 million people.
That's wild. And it happened during a heat wave, too, with temperatures reaching 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Engineers worked quickly to restore power to critical facilities like hospitals, but many households remained without electricity overnight.
It's unclear how one isolated disturbance could have shut down the electric grid across an entire nation. But it seems that an imbalance in power caused cascading problems across the grid.
And this isn't just a problem in Sri Lanka. Here in the United States, experts have warned that our electrical grids are woefully out of date and unprepared for a surge in new demand from AI data centers and chargers for electric cars.
Blackouts and harmful electrical surges that can destroy appliances are becoming much more common as grids experience more dramatic fluctuations in demand that they were not designed to accommodate.
There is hope that nuclear energy could help increase energy supplies, but those projects will take years to develop, and the rest of the grid will still need to be upgraded to support greater transmission.
President Trump recently suggested that new data centers should be co-located next to power plants so that they do not need to tap into outdated power lines.
Sri Lanka is home to a large population, and deforestation has occurred rapidly in recent decades as the country has grown in population. In essence, humans are encroaching on the monkeys' territory, and in that light, the outage can be viewed as some sort of karmic justice.
Monkeys are known to terrorize towns across Sri Lanka, raiding them for food and destroying crops. But hey, the monkeys were there first. Some would argue it is the humans harming the apes, not the other way around. In our next story, reported by Matthew Galt for Gizmodo, Scarlett Johansson is calling for the U.S. government to rein in AI after she was featured in an anti-Kanye West video that's going viral on social media.
Oh boy, here we go again with AI causing trouble. But wait, why is Scarlett Johansson involved in this?
Well, David, the AI-generated video features prominent celebrities, including Johansson, wearing a white t-shirt bearing a cartoon middle finger that contains a Star of David floating above the word Kanye.
Yikes, that sounds like a mess. But why is Johansson so upset about it?
She's a Jewish woman who has no tolerance for anti-Semitism or hate speech of any kind. But she also believes that the potential for hate speech multiplied by AI is a far greater threat than any one person who takes accountability for it.
I see her point. So what does she want the government to do about it?
She's urging the U.S. government to make the passing of legislation limiting AI use a top priority, as it's a bipartisan issue that enormously affects the immediate future of humanity at large.
Wow, that's a pretty strong stance. But wait, didn't Johansson have some issues with AI before?
Yes, she was the voice of an advanced AI chatbot in the 2013 film Her, and since then, Sam Altman has been obsessed with making her the voice of ChatGPT.
Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. What happened?
OpenAI approached her to be the voice of the chatbot, and she refused. But when OpenAI released its voice ChatGPT model, one of the options sounded suspiciously like the actress, and she sued.
Oh man, that's not cool. So, what happened to the video that's going viral now?
As of this writing, the video is still up, and the person who created it, Ori Bejarano, is even taking a victory lap and posting news hits about his viral success on his timeline. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI. I'm Beatrix Kiddo, your host, and I'm grateful for your listenership. We hope you found today's news summary informative and thought-provoking. Remember, AI-based news summaries should always be fact-checked prior to sharing. On this day in history, in 1945, the city of Dresden was bombed by Allied forces during World War II, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. Let us take a moment to reflect on the events of the past and how they have shaped our present. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow for more news, insights, and perspectives. Until then, stay informed, stay curious, and have a great day.